Good morning, my dear ninth class students. We'll take a science subject today. The topic is matter pure? The same topic is there in your CBSE textbook also. That is by the title called Is Matter Around Us Pure? We'll start now. I'll cover both the textbook CBSE and as well as your state textbook. Even I'll give some IIT concepts also in between, and I'll provide you PDF copy of it also, like part 1, part 2 and part 3. After listening this video, if you send a message through WhatsApp, if you want PDF, definitely madam is going to provide you PDF of this particular session. So we'll start now. The topic is matter pure? Before knowing about purity of matter or impurity of matter, let us know first what is matter. All the things which you see around us is called matter. Example, the stylus, the board, the pen, chalkpiece, wall, whatever the things you take it, you consider it as matter. You is also a matter. Even me is also a matter. So, what is matter? According to the definition, anything which has mass and occupies space is called matter. So, anything which has mass and occupies space. What do you mean by occupies space? Occupies space means should have volume. So I'll write it down. Volume is called matter. Hope you people have understood. Anything you take it, you consider it as a matter. Tell me anything which is not a matter. Is there anything which you consider it as not a matter? Yes, of course. Our thoughts, our emotions, so which doesn't have any kind of mass nor occupies any space. Such kind of things you call it as non-matter. Now, earlier in our previous classes, or you can say previous topics, we have studied the physical and chemical properties of matter. So matter has both physical properties and also chemical properties. Earlier in our previous class or in our previous topics, we have studied the physical properties of matter. That matter present in 3 states: solids, liquid and gases. Now in this topic we are going to study about their chemical properties. Okay, so let's come back. You might have gone to the market or to the provision store with your parents to buy rice, dal, milk, ghee, etc. And you must have tried to ensure to get the best, or say the purest possible items like pure milk or pure ghee. What do you mean by a pure milk, pure ghee? In our day-to-day life, according to ourselves, the pure means it should not have any adulteration or mixing of impurities or mixing of any other substance. We believe pure milk means the milk which is obtained from cow or buffalo being taken by you is called pure milk. But according to the chemist or according to the scientist or according to the chemistry, pure gives something different meaning. That we are going to study. So according to us, a pure means no adulteration. If we think that whatever the milk we get as a tag printed on it, pure milk, we think a pure milk means without any adulteration. So pure means no adulteration. There is no mix of water in it. But according to chemistry, or according to scientists, or according to science, pure is having a different meaning. When you start spinning the milk with a churner, after some time you find a thick solid layer comes on the top of the milk. What you call it as cream. It means what? According to science, cream is a different substance. The milk, what you see in the vessel, is a different substance. So according to us, the milk is pure, but according to the science or according to the chemistry, the milk is mixture of certain components. We are going to study what is a pure substance, what is a mixture is all about. According to chemistry, the matter here, let's go with this. Matter is divided into two. One you call it as pure substance, and another one mixture. Right? We are going to study what is a pure substance and what is the mixture. Pure substance means the substance which is made up of only one kind of particles. So pure substance means the one which is made up of only one kind of particles. You call it as pure substance. Example, you take elements, right, like gold, silver, iron. These are all called a pure substances. Like if you take gold, pure substances. The symbol is AU. The gold is made up of small, tiniest particles, what you call as atoms. These atoms are very much similar to each other. These kind of substances, you call it as pure substance. That the substance is made up of only the same kind of particles. You call it as pure substance. Then what do you call for mixtures? So the next topic is your mixture. When one or two pure substances combine together, then you call it as mixture. Example, potassium permanganate solution. Okay. Potassium permanganate solution, you call it as mixture because potassium permanganate crystals, when mixed with water, then it becomes a solution. So it is a composition of both potassium permanganate and as well as water. So that type of substances where you find one or two substances that are mixed in a proper proportion, you call it as mixture. Example, you take water also, H2O. That is, it's a mixture of different atoms of different elements. Okay. that is hydrogen element and as well as oxygen element in a definite proportion. It's very important. Example, H2O. You can't say, sir, I'll get water H3O in my area, in my locality, or say HO3. It's wrong. It should be in a proper proportion. So that is why you call it as definite proportion. So these substances are called mixtures. Example, you take soil. Soil is also a mixture. It contains many different kinds of substances like sand, sand particles, right? Silt, clay, etc. There are many substances, many different substances, particles, right, mixed together to form a soil. So these are some examples of substances which you consider it as mixture. So mixture, I'll again explain you. Mixture is when one or two pure substances are mixed together to form a substance. That substance you call it as mixture. So pure substance means the substance which is made up of only a same or similar kind of particles. Generally, elements you refer it as pure substances, but whereas compounds you refer it as mixtures. So these are all called like compounds. What do you mean by compound? That is two or more elements. When you mix it together, then you refer it as compounds. Whereas element is a single substance, or you can say a substance which has a same or similar kind of particles, is called pure substance. Even I'll provide you the PDF. I'll just go through the PDF as far as we have finished this. Example, I'll show you. This is your this one. Is matter pure? Let us study this so that you can understand. Matter, anything which has mass and occupies space, that's volume, is called matter. Everything around us is called matter. Then what is not a matter? As I explained you, as I told you, anything which neither has mass nor occupies space. Example, thoughts, emotions, etc. Matter can be studied by its physical properties and chemical properties. That is also I have explained you. Physical properties of matter are solid, liquid and gases. But whereas chemical study of matter is about the study of pure substances and impure substances. What impure substances is called? Don't say impure substances. Okay, the word impure, of course, it gives the same meaning, but you say mixtures. Okay. According to science, again, impure substance, pure substance, I think, okay, you should not differentiate substances in pure or impure substance. You call it as mixture. So please, you always pronounce it as mixture, not impure. So in this topic, we study the chemical properties of matter. Physical properties already we have studied in our previous session, that is in previous class. Even in 8th also we have studied that how, right, the what you call the physical properties of matter. Example, the three states of matter, solid, liquid and gases, how they are formed. The particles are very compact to each other and other stuff we have studied. So that is a physical property of matter. Now we'll study the chemical properties of matter in this particular topic to clearly have a knowledge the difference between a pure substances and a mixture. So this is what, let us go to this one. We have pure substance. In our day-to-day language, pure means something with no adulteration, whereas according to science, a pure substance is one which is made up of only one kind of particles. As I told you, example I've given you as a gold, the same thing I've given here. Okay, and pure substances cannot be separated into simpler substances by physical method. If you physically hammer it and break it into smaller pieces, even that smaller pieces is also having the same kind of particle what you get the particles in the other piece of a gold substance. So these are the things are called your pure substance. Now, what do you mean by impure substance? Impure substance, as I told you, are generally called as mixtures. So here, a mixture contains two or more pure substances mixed together. Mixture contains two or more different kinds of particles. Potassium permanganate. So mixing of potassium permanganate crystal in water makes a solution. And also I have given you the soil, two or more different kinds of particles, that is sand particles, silt, clay, etc. So mixture can be separated by physical means. That is also a point there. I'll explain it. Then what is an element? Element is a substance which cannot be split into two or more simpler substances by chemical means or chemical method. Elements contain only one kind of atoms, as I told you, right? You take hydrogen element or oxygen element, gold, silver, whatever. Every element is made up of a similar kind of atoms, right? You don't find atoms of silver in gold, or you don't find atoms of aluminum in water. So these kind of things you have to be very careful. I think you have understood this. Let's go to the next one. What is a compound? As I told you, what is a compound? When two or more elements mix together, then you call it as a compound. Okay. Compound is a substance composed of two or more elements chemically combined with one another in a fixed proportion. This word fixed proportion is always, you should mention it. Without this, your definition is not appropriate. It is incomplete. I'll consider it as incomplete. So example, water. Water is H2O. That is, you have elements hydrogen and oxygen. Sugar. See, many students, they write sugar formula means C6H12O6. They write C6H12O6. This is for glucose, not for sugar. Remember this always. Sugar formula is this, C12H22 and O11, right? So C12 means 12 atoms of carbon. 22, H22 means 22 atoms of hydrogen. O11 means 11 atoms of oxygen. So this is what given here. And you take even common salt, that is sodium chloride, NaCl. Proportionately they are mixed, they are combined in 1:1 ratio form. Equally they combined, that is the mixture of sodium and also chlorine in 1:1 ratio. There are certain questions I have given to you, because unless you answer certain kinds of questions, I don't think you people remember what all the topics we discussed. We'll answer to few questions immediately after finishing one or two topics, so that you can understand much better. Here I have given a question. What is the difference between gold and water in terms of their particles? So you just try to understand, because whatever we studied till now, I think that is going to get perfect. Gold, Au, it has only one type of atoms. That is why it is called element. The question is here, what is the difference between gold and water in terms of their particles? So gold, It has only one type of atoms. Of course, as I explained you, that is why you call it as element. Water forms two atoms, one hydrogen and other is oxygen. Therefore, you call it as molecule. Water is composed of two different elements. You call it as water molecule. Never say water atom. You understood? Because it is a composition of two elements there. One is hydrogen and another one is oxygen. When they combine, you get a molecule. What is the definition of molecules? When two or more atoms combine together, it forms molecule. The same thing. So you always refer as water molecule, not water atom. That is the difference. Okay. There is a question, one more question I have given here so that you can understand much better. The thing is, classify the following pure substances as elements or compounds. See, oxygen. Oxygen, obviously, it is an element. Its atomic number is 8, right? In a periodic table. So, it means two oxygen atom. It always refers as like this, O2. Oxygen is O2. So, two atoms. Hydrogen is also an element. You call it as, the symbol is your H2. Salt. Salt is what? NaCl, common salt. NaCl. This NaCl means it's a mixture of two elements. One is sodium and another one is chlorine. Water is a compound. As I told you, it's a compound, right? So you have two elements. One is oxygen and another one is hydrogen. And silver. Silver. What is the symbol for silver? Ag, small g. So silver is element you have in a periodic table. Up to this we have finished. Let us go back and I'll explain about the other things. Then we'll follow PDF later. I'll repeat it again. Matter, based on their chemical properties, are broadly classified into two. One is pure substances and another one is mixture. Now we'll study about mixture. What is a mixture? When two or more substances are combined at random, you call it as mixture. When two or more substances are combined at random, you call it as mixture. So in a mixture, the constituents, you call this as constituents. Remember that. Don't say components. Of course, I have seen in many books, VGS series, question banks and other stuff, they have termed it as components. See, what happens whenever you combine or whenever you mix one or two components, you get a device. It's an physics and electronics term, components. But whereas this constituents is your chemistry word, use this word constituents, which gives you the composition. When two or more substances or two or more, right, elements, when you combine together, you get the composition of mixture. So constituents is a correct word. Okay, I am not saying that is wrong, but it is not appropriate. Component is not an appropriate word. In mixture, the constituents are not chemically combined. We can easily separate the pure substances by physical process. Example, you take seawater. Seawater is mixed up with dissolved salt and water. constituents are dissolved salt and water. On heating, the water evaporates and solid salt is left behind, and the properties of mixture depend on its composition. Remember this all. This is very important. I'll write it down and I'll explain you. Composition of mixture can be varied, and the properties of mixture depends on its composition. This is very important. The composition of mixture can be varied. Okay, depending on the composition of mixture, you are going to name by a different terminology to a mixture. Based on the physical property of the mixture, again classified based on their physical properties into two. One you call it as homogeneous mixture, heterogeneous. What makes a solution or what makes a mixture to be a homogeneous mixture, and what makes a mixture or a solution to be a heterogeneous mixture? That purely depends on its composition. Let us now classify based on the physical properties of a mixture. The mixture is classified into two. One is homogeneous mixture and another one is heterogeneous mixture. We'll study that. So, based on the physical properties, the mixture is classified into two. One you call it as homogeneous mixture, and another one is heterogeneous mixture. We have to study now what is homogeneous mixture and what is heterogeneous mixture. I'll just explain it here. We'll go back to our PDF content so that you can understand much better. If you take a sugar solution, there is no visible boundaries between two constituents, that is between the compositions of two substances. One is sugar and another one is water. It is uniformly mixed into the solution. Means you get this part of the solution, you get the same sweetness. This part of the solution also gets the same sweetness. It means what? There are no visible boundaries between the constituents, between the compositions of two substances what you mixed in this kind of example. Kind of mixture you call it as homogeneous mixture. All homogeneous mixtures are called solutions, where the one substance is completely dissolved in the another substance. But whereas, take another example, if I mix sand in water, what happens? After certain period of time, you find sand particles are at the bottom of the vessel and upper portion is with water. You can easily visible the boundaries of separation of between two substances here. One is sand, another one is water. So such kind of mixture you call it as heterogeneous mixture. So hetero means different, homo means same. Again, these words are Latin words. So homogeneous and heterogeneous. Geneous means mixture, homo means the same. It has mixed uniformly here. You are not going to see any boundaries between the two constituents in this composition. But whereas in this composition you can see a visible clear boundary between the two constituents, that is sand and water. So such kind of mixtures you call it as heterogeneous mixture, and this kind of mixture you call it as homogeneous mixture. Now we'll go to our PDF content. I'll just repeat it there so that you can understand much better. Define and explain. I have made it in a question form so that you can understand. Do not mug up the question answers. Please try to understand. Okay, and try to write down by your own. Prepare sentences by your own. When two or more substances are mixed at random, it forms a mixture. In a mixture, the constituents, I have not written components there, so please don't do that mistake writing, because I have seen in different kinds of question banks and other textbooks, right, even some few IIT materials, they have mentioned components. So don't write components. I am not saying it is wrong, but it is not appropriate. Component refers in physics, constituents refers in chemistry. We are dealing with chemistry, so use the word constituent. When two or more substances are mixed at random, it forms a mixture. In a mixture, the constituents are not, right, chemically combined and can be separated into pure substances. Physically, you can easily separate them, like when you heat. On heating salt water or say sea water mix dissolved salts in water. On heating, water evaporates and solid salt is left behind. This is very important, as I told you. This is very important. The composition of mixture can be varied, and the properties of mixture depends on its composition. I have already explained you. I have written the same sentence, right, and have explained you. So please try to understand. Example. Here example given, but I have not explained there with an example. See, for example, various types of stainless steel, right, we mix it with distinct properties of another substances like chromium and nickel. Mixtures are classified on the basis of their physical properties. That is also I told you. Based on the physical properties, mixtures are classified into two. One is homogeneous mixture and another one is heterogeneous mixture. Let us see what is homogeneous mixture here. This also I have explained you. Now we will go to the PDF content so that you can understand much better. A homogeneous mixture has no visible boundaries. We have taken a sugar solution where you have seen the complete sugar is dissolved in water. The uniform composition happened there. The same thing is here. I have mentioned in this also. A homogeneous mixture has no visible boundaries of separation between the various constituents. It has a uniform composition throughout the mass, throughout the complete mass. All the homogeneous mixtures are called solutions. That is also I told you. A mixture of sugar in water is a solution. It has the same sugar-water composition throughout, and all parts of it have the same sweetness. A solution has only one phase, and there is no boundary of separation between two constituents. That is what given. A mixture of water and alcohol, if different amount of copper sulfate are added, this experiment is there that I am going to explain in the next video, right? And also you can do certain experiments at home and you can forward me through WhatsApp. Both homogeneous solutions, but intensity of color will be different. This shows a homogeneous mixture can have variable composition. Other examples are air alloy like brass, right, amalgam. All these things are there. You just go through the PDF, you will come to know. So this is homogeneous mixture. Now I have even explained you what is heterogeneous mixture, that you can see a clear visible boundaries between the two constituents in that particular composition. Let's go to that. Heterogeneous mixture. A heterogeneous mixture has visible boundaries. As I told you, we mixed sand and water. You can clearly visible boundaries of two different constituents, or what you call the two different substances in that composition. Such kind of compositions you call, or such kind of mixture you call it as heterogeneous mixture. That is the same thing given here. This is the thing what you have to write down, and you can have this. I have given certain this thing. These things are very important. We have will start from starting point. Matter, right, based on their chemical properties, are broadly classified into two. One is pure substances, another one is, I told you, impure substance, don't mention it, but you mention as mixtures, it looks good. This pure substance again classified into elements and compounds, that is also we have discussed. And certain examples given here, right? These examples, you have gold, you have oxygen, hydrogen, iron. Here you have compounds, that is water, sodium chloride, this is your sugar. These are all comes under pure substances. But whereas here a mixture again based on their physical properties, mixture is classified again into two. One is homogeneous mixture, another one is heterogeneous mixture, what we have studied. Homogeneous mixtures are this: salt, sugar, potassium permanganate, soda. This completely dissolve in the solution. But whereas this, right, you find separate boundaries. Soil, as I told you, oil plus water. Of course, milk is your heterogeneous mixture. Starting I have explained, when you churn, when you spin by churning the milk, what happens? You can see a separate, a thick layer present on the surface of milk, what you call it as cream. So cream particles are different, and the particles which are present in the milk in the bottom of the vessel are different. That is why you call it as heterogeneous mixture. This is what we have finished up to this, and these topics, you have to go through. This is the question. Give the distinguishing features of pure substances or a compound and a mixture. So there are 6 to 7, right, possible ways to distinguish between pure substance and a mixture. That 5 to 6, right, characteristics I have given here. You just go through. Ask to madam to send the PDF to you. Part 1 PDF contains good content to learn. Now we'll come back to the term called solution. What do you mean by solution? Let us go on the next plain PDF. You have seen sugar solution, that is homogeneous mixture. So what is solution, and how again solutions are classified? What are the properties of solution? True solution. The substance, remember this, the substance which is mixed in a smaller quantity, you call it as solute, and the substance which is mixed in a larger quantity, you call it as solvent. Example, sugar solution. This is your water, say 100 ml of water, and say 10 grams of sugar. So when example I am giving you, when 10 grams of sugar mixed in 100 ml of water, then it forms homogeneous mixture, you call it as sugar solution. The quantity which is mixed in a lesser proportion, you call this as solute. And the quantity which is mixed in the solution, larger quantity, that you call it as solvent. So in this sugar solution, the solute is sugar and solvent is the water. Similarly, if you take if you mix 2 grams of salt in 10 ml of water, so that is your salt solution, where a smaller quantity substance what you mixed in a solution, this substance you call it as solute, and the substance which is in larger quantity or say larger proportion, you refer it as solvent. So homogeneous mixture, again it depends on its solubility. Based on the solubility, we again name the solutions as saturated solutions and unsaturated solutions. Solubility, so the next term is solubility. The maximum amount of solid substances dissolved in a water, you call it as its solubility. The maximum amount of solute can dissolve in a given solvent is called its solubility. Solution. A true solution is defined as a homogeneous mixture of 2 or more substances. The term homogeneous means every portion of solution has the same property. Example, sugar dissolved in water, iodine, or in ethyl alcohol, that is you call it as tincture. The substance present in smaller proportion in a solution is called solute. The substance present in larger proportion in solution, you call it as solvent. Then what is solubility? This is very important. From here, important. The maximum amount of solid that can be dissolved in a given amount of solvent, that is water, is termed as its solubility at the temperature, at that temperature. Remember this always. I'll just repeat it again. Solubility, the maximum amount of solid that can be dissolved in a given amount of solvent, right? Solid, amount of solid means what here? That is solute, okay, is termed as its solubility at that temperature. Based on that, based on this solubility, the property of solution again changes, and even you termed it as unsaturated solution and saturated solutions. It's very easy, that's why I'm not going there, I'll explain here itself. Saturated solutions. What do you mean by saturated? A solution in which no more solid can be dissolved at a given temperature, you call it as saturated solution. So unsaturated means a solution in which more of the solid can be dissolved at a given temperature, called as unsaturated solution. So solutions are again based on their solubilities are classified in two. One is saturated solutions, another one is unsaturated solutions. This is a small topic given here. Then we'll go to the concentration of solution. This is very, very important, because in IIT concept and other stuff, in my next video, you're going to do certain problems based on the concentration of the solution. So concentration of the solution depends on the percentage of solute and percentage of solvent. So all these things we are going to deal. So please listen very carefully. You have aqueous and non-aqueous solution. What is aqueous solution? What is non-aqueous? Aqueous, aqua, water. It's very simple. That is, whenever you mix a substance in water, a homogeneous mixture, you call it as aqueous solution, and you have alcohol, acetone, etc. When you mix these things, you call it as non-aqueous solution. Anyhow, I'll repeat the question here. I'll repeat the answer here. True solutions obtained in water are aqueous solution. Okay, example, vinegar, right? True solutions in organic liquids like alcohol, acetone, etc., they are called non-aqueous solution. This is a very important topic dealing with now. This is very important. That is concentration of solution. The concentration of solution is the amount of solute in grams present per 100 ml or per 100 grams of solution. That is called concentration of. So how do you find out the concentration of a solution? This is the formula, or we can define in this way. These are the two definitions, gives the same meaning. I'll go for this. Concentration of solution may be expressed in terms of percentage by mass of solute per 100 grams of solution, not solvent. Remember that. This is very important. See, the percentage by mass of solute per 100 grams of solution, not solvent. Okay. Example, to avoid the confusion here, I have given one example also. See, if a solution is 5%, it means it is 5 grams of solute dissolved in 100 grams of solution, or it contains 5 grams solute and 95 grams of solvent. So solution is 100%. Okay, so 100% means solution is mixture of solute and solvent, right? So if you are considering by separating it, then you have to mention 95 grams of solvent and 5 grams of solute, or 5 grams of solute in 100% of solution. So that is the difference between solution and solute and solvent, that you have to see here. So 100%, this percentage of solute is always given by mass of the solute, by mass of solution, not solvent, okay, into 100. This is what given here. For that, there is an example question also given. 110 grams of salt is present in 550 grams of solution. Calculate the concentration of solution. So we'll see. Given mass of solute is how much? Mass of solute. See, the substance which is present in a less proportion or smaller proportion, you always call it as solute. So solute given, that is salt is a solute here. So 110 grams. So given mass of solute is how much? 110 grams. And mass of solution, the complete solution what you formed is how much? 550. Here 550 grams. Percentage of composition is what? Right? That is the mass of your solute by mass of your solution into 100. Therefore 110 by 150 into 100 is concentration. You get it as 20% by mass. So you please go through this video again and again, extract more questions and also articulate answers by yourself. Hope you people have understood. If you have any doubt, please send me your doubts through WhatsApp. I'm going to respond. We'll meet in the next video. Till then, stay happy and stay healthy. Bye.